Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Federico Hernandez, and welcome to the Rum Lab. Welcome to the Rum Lab channel and Savvy. I'm super excited to be here. Right before I start, I'm like, is this in English or in Spanish? But it is in English, so I'm like, okay, great, let's start. Super excited to be here with everyone today. It's been probably almost like a month since I haven't done a live stream. Very busy with all the rum festivals, but excited to talk about rum and teach about rum and educate ourselves about rum. Really quickly, let me just go here. Everybody who's connected right now, under whether you're in the Rum Lab or like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, come over to the rumlab.com or actually go to zavvy.co, which is actually better. This is where you can see us directly, zavvy.co, and you can participate from our today's live chat. And you'll see the chat box. And you'll see some little by little. Yeah, I see Brad from Panama, which is great. I see Al-Suri from Omaha, Nebraska. All right. And then and there's 21 more people already connected, 58 already registered as well, which is great. If you have any questions right below here, you'll see that it says ask questions right at the end when we have our Q&A. This is where we'll see and go through those questions. We do ask everyone to share the event. Let's invite our friends. Let's talk about rum today. And main agenda, our agenda today is 30, 40 minutes, talking about our main presentation, and then we'll go through our Q&A. All right. So today's main topic is Ron Carúpano Virtual Distillery Tour. And with us is Lucia Alliegro. She's the Ron Carúpano Marketing Director. Hi, Lucia.
Hi, Fede. How are you guys? Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Actually, Lucia and I were here yesterday too. We were doing a live stream in Spanish, so we had a little bit of practice. We'll teach everybody how to speak Spanish today. No, I'm kidding. We'll just have a great presentation with today's live stream. Lucia, before we start, I would like to, I would like everybody to know your role in Ron Carúpano.
Well, I am the marketing director with Ron Carúpano. I have been with the company for over 3 years now. I'm an industrial engineer, so I like and I love very much to talk about processes and our facilities and how rum is made. So feel free to ask whatever you want to know. I am very, very Venezuelan, so that's why my accent is so thick. So I apologize in advance.
I don't apologize. Be proud. You're great.
So let's start.
And before actually, Lucia, I didn't ask you this about yesterday. You said you've been 3 years in the rum industry.
Yeah.
You're an engineer, but what were you doing before? Is anything related with like consumer good products?
Yes, I have been working in the marketing department for over 15 years now. I work with brands like Kellogg's,
Oh,
like
wow.
the cereals, yes. And after that, I worked with Electrolux, and now I'm working with rum, with
And I'm
Venezuela
sure
rum.
I'm sure this is way funner. This is
It
a very
is for sure.
okay. So today we're doing this virtual distillery tour, and of course, what Lucia and her team prepared is basically a really cool video. Um, and I'm going to share right here that it's going to guide us through the experience of the town of Carúpano, right? So this is the way we're going to do this video or this presentation today is that I'm gonna play it, then we're gonna stop the presentations, and then we'll just do everything by segment. And and if actually people have questions, I'll be looking at those questions. We don't have to actually, you don't have to actually. I know I said this in the very beginning, but if you have any questions while we're seeing the videos and you want to talk about it, let us know. All right. All right, Lucia, are you ready to be our tour guide?
Yes, I would love that.
This is like Disney, but instead for rum. Yes, great.
For rum and Carúpano and the Carúpano town.
All right. So let's start. And then I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is Carúpano, the town where we are located, where our facilities are located. It is a very typical coastal town in Venezuela. We're located in the east part of the country and very near the coast, just 3 kilometers away from the coast. So that's why our rums have that special, like, saline or mineral taste, which is very characteristic of Ron Carúpano. So we are very proud to show you where we are located, our beautiful beaches and sands that are just surrounding the Ron Carúpano facilities.
Exactly. So your Ron Carúpano, which is done in Carúpano, the city of Carúpano, right? And Carúpano is in the state of Sucre.
Correct. It's in
Right?
the state of Sucre, in the east part of the country, right by the sea, right by the Caribbean Sea, right in front of the Caribbean Sea. And as I said, it is a very, very typical coastal town, with a lot of tourism, and this is a very hard word to pronounce, beaches and sands, and dance and coconut plants. Like, it is very, very beautiful town.
So and Carúpano or Sucre is it the last state in Venezuela, which is right next to like the next country?
The thing that is above the last state, that is that has the frontier with Guyana, but it's
Okay.
above that one. Mhm.
Understood. Very good. And something that you mentioned was the access to great water, right? So, and then something that we were seeing in the video is the access of like this beautiful river and crystalline water. The ocean looks amazing, right? But I think something that's very important, right, is this access to amazing water.
Yes, this is the Chuare River, and that it goes across our hacienda, our facility, and it is the river where we take the water from. It's a pure spring water that we use in the process of making our rums. We just remove the minerals from the water, and then we add it to the alcohol in the process of aging the rums. So it is very important, and it's a very important characteristic, and very distinctive characteristic of our rum.
Understood. So, and then here, right now, this next clip that we're going to start seeing is the main entrance, right, to the facilities.
Yes, this is the main entrance of our Hacienda Altamira. We were founded in that place 260 years ago, when a Spanish captain called Felix del Fierro fell in love with the beautiful Carúpano town and their people. And where he founded his distillery is where we are located right now. So that's why we have this history, and we are the pioneers where the production of rum began in Venezuela in 1762. This year, 2022, it's our 260th anniversary.
Wow, 260 anniversary.
Yes, there in that location that we are showing you guys right now. So we have this this mastery, this tradition behind us, and it is very important, and we're very proud of that, of having that history surrounding the our brand. We are a family-owned company. The first generation of the family is behind the brand right now, and you'll see that it's it's we feel very proud and very honored to be working with this brand right now with such an important history and tradition in Venezuela and in Carúpano.
Exactly. Thank you. All right.
So we're looking right now at the tanks where we deposit all the alcohol. We have we're going to see here different types of tanks. The wooden ones are where we have the macerations, alcohol macerating with maybe cocoa and different things that we use in our rums. And then we have the tanks where we save or where we deposit the alcohol, the fresh alcohol, and the blends that we use to the process of bottling.
So wait, so let's something that we want to clarify is that at the Ron Carúpano facility, right now your neutral rum is bought from another plant, right? Is bought from or sourced from another distillery.
Yeah, the alcohol that we use, the fresh alcohol that we use in the aging process comes from like a sister company in Yaracuy, in the Yaracuy state that is located in the central part of the country. They harvest the sugar cane and they process the molasses in order to convert it in alcohol. Our alcohol comes from the column distillation, and it is very simple. Just the molasses, yeast that goes in the fermentation process, and then that product goes to the columns, distillation columns, and then we obtain the alcohol that we use in our processes.
Exactly. And there are some standards, right, for for rum to be called Venezuelan rums, and we want to clarify that, right? And just in case someone does not know, including myself, if you can explain how this is.
Yes, we have a very strict legislation regarding rums here in Venezuela, and for an alcohol that comes from sugar cane to be called rum, it has to be at least 2 years. It has to have at least 2 years of aging in white American oak barrels, and it has to be 80 U.S. proof at least, and with no reposition of angels shares. So that is very important though, because we need to comply with that in order to call rum to our rums.
Absolutely. But there's there's facility or like a wiggle room, meaning that, or a flexibility that you can use a column still or a pot still. As long as the sugar cane is, uh, or the rum is made from molasses, right?
Correct.
Um, it can be stilled or distilled in any type of either column still or pot still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be distilled from columns or pot still. And the important thing it's that it needs to come from molasses.
Right.
That's the most important thing. And then in our case, we just add yeast to the fermentation process or for the fermentation process, and our alcohols comes from a column distillation.
Column distillation.
Yes, we don't use pot still in our blends, and we of course need to comply with the legislation to call rum to our rums.
So once the rums are, I imagine they come on trucks, right? That they bring all the neutral rum. You fill up these tanks. These are the first tanks that are being filled.
These are the first tanks that they receive the fresh alcohol or the neutral alcohol, and this is the one that we use to fill the barrels. Okay, it's neutral alcohol. We just add water, our pure spring water, to the mix, and then it goes directly to the aging process in our facilities.
So
The
the neutral rum arrives. You put it in the tanks. You add water. Then it
Correct.
goes to the tanks. To a barrel. Sorry. Then it goes to a
Correct.
barrel.
Mhm.
Then it's being aged for a period of time. In Venezuela, for it to be called a rum, it has to be aged for a minimum of 2 years.
Minimum 2 years, correct. And
If
then
not, if not, it has to be. If not, it's called liqueur, right?
liquor, yeah, or spiritual drinks
Mm.
or
Yeah.
spirits.
Absolutely. And and the image that we're seeing right now to the left, you were saying these are done. The wooden fast are for maceration.
Correct.
Is this do all the expressions go through the process of macerations or
No,
only?
we have one in particular that is it's one of our SKUs for the prestige collection that is called XO, Ron Carúpano XO, that uses maceration with
Okay.
cacao beans, and it is deposited in those tanks, wooden tanks.
And the cacao is also from it's locally sourced as well, I imagine.
It is locally sourced, correct. It's from a chocolate brand here in Venezuela called Franceschi, and they have their facilities right by ours here in Carúpano, and they provide us with the cacao beans that we use for Ron Carúpano XO. So it is a very, in fact, our master blender calls XO a Venezuelan expression, like a Venezuelan. Yeah, it is very typical of Venezuela because it is rum and chocolate in the same bottle. So it's a very Venezuelan, honor for us.
Excellent. All right, let's continue with the video because there's a lot to see.
So you'll see there the palm trees, very typical of our town. And here we are in the barrels warehouse where we manually work with the staffs to convert those into our barrels. So it is a very artisanal and handmade process made right in our facilities. And what you see there, that plant is called Enea.
Mhm.
Enea, it's a plant that we use, the kind of reed that we use to seal the little spaces that are between the stabs.
Like any
And
gap.
exactly, the gaps between the stabs, and it is very flexible, and it doesn't add any type of flavor or aromas to the rum. So we use that to seal those gaps, and when the barrel is completely armed, it goes to that process, which is the char process or the charring process, where we burn the inside of the barrel in order to open the pores of the wood, and then we can extract all the hemicellulose and the lignin that is inside the wood, and those substances work their magic with the alcohol and the oxygen and the air that is inside the barrel during the aging process.
Okay, I have a question for you about this. This is something that I learned yesterday. The barrels arrive. You guys buy the barrels or source the barrels from American companies, right, that used to
Mhm.
have or used to age American whiskey and bourbon, correct?
Correct. American whiskey, and we actually buy our barrels from Jack Daniels. So they are secondhand barrels that we use here in Venezuela. But it's very important, and it is very appropriate for the rums that we use secondhand barrels, because it adds, like the bourbon and the whiskey flavors to the final product. So it is very positive that we use those kind of barrels here in Venezuela. That those barrels comes from Kentucky, and we, because they already aged bourbon or whiskey, uh, we use this process to open the pores of the internal surface of the barrel of the wood, in order to extract those substances from the wood.
Understood. Because and something that's quite interesting is that which I learned yesterday is that you buy or you source the barrels already in pieces,
Correct.
uh, in containers. So you have I have no idea how many units are like
A lot.
disassembled or or like in pieces, and then you put them together like a Lego, and you set up this barrel.
Correct.
Uh, and I imagine you have some specifications on sharing, right? How toasted or how shard is going to be inside.
Yes, we have three different levels: low, light, medium, and heavy. That depends on what the master blender requires for the alcohol that is going to be deposited in those barrels, and depending on how deep we want to go within the wood or the stabs. So it is important this, and it requires the supervision of our master blender in order to have the perfect barrel according to the final product that she wants to obtain.
Understood. So the barrels don't come shard. They actually, they or slightly shard. You scrape them off or
Correct.
sand them off, and then you artisanally, or the process that we were seeing, and we'll see this video again. Um, you toast it depending or to the level the master blender wants to or request, right?
Correct.
Super
The
interesting.
the effect of the temperature, or the different temperatures of the charring process, begins to break down the components, and the aromas and the flavors, and that's how the flavors and the aroma comes out from the wood. So this process is very, very important, because it affects directly the final product and the taste, and the perception that you will have from the rums. So because when you add the alcohol, the neutral alcohol to the barrels, it's completely white, completely transparent, and it is because this process of sharing and the aging process, that the rum becomes, so amber or dark. It converts in that amber color. So it is a very important part of the process.
So actually, thank you for that. Before, there's a question from Al-Suri. She was asking, or he's asking. Sorry, they're asking the neutral rum that you source. What proof does it come to you guys?
Um, I have that in Gay Lussac, 96 Gay Lussac, approximately.
Understood. Okay.
So it should
And
be, let me see, because 80 US proof is 40. It's like over 160 US proof, maybe 170.
could be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Um, okay, let's continue, and then because actually something, because we're gonna start talking about aging very soon, right?
Yeah. Oh, we missed the part where we hydrate the barrels. It's a little
Oh
bit.
yes, absolutely true. Let's go back to the hydro.
Yeah. So after the sharing process, we take the barrels to this one, which is the hydration process, in where we wet the wood and the fibers of the wood through this steam vapor,
Yep, through
steam
steam.
from hot water, basically.
Hmm.
And this process helps the barrel, help us to seal the pores of the barrel, and it acts like a waterproof system that prevents the leakage of liquids from the barrel.
And after this process, you go through the process of filling up the barrels with pressure, just to see if there's any leaks.
Correct. Those barrels needs to be tasted or like proof
Tested.
before tested before the filling process. And if everything is okay, they go to the filling process where we add the alcohol already blended with water.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
And here we're going to our aging warehouses where the barrels rest for at least 2 years during the magical of the magic of the aging process. In fact, this is where we have our mastery in aging rums. It's Carúpano's mastery. We have 4 warehouses where we age our rums, and approximately 48,000 barrels, 180 liters each, and they rest in horizontal form in the racks. And it is a magical place. So when you open the aging warehouses, it's like you enter in a different zone. It's darker, it's colder, it's completely in silence. It is the most important active of our brand, the aging warehouses where the rum is resting.
And why is the city or the town of Carúpano a key component for this, right? Why does it why is the rum so delicious? What's happening in like in the atmosphere that makes aging so unique?
It is so unique in Carúpano because we are located in a valley. The valley is called Macarapana, the Macarapana Valley, and we're surrounded by mountains. So, being a coastal town, we're very near the coast, as I said, only 3 kilometers away. We have this, like this hot temperature, this hot weather during the day, and then the breezes that come from the sea during the night, it takes that the temperature a little lower, so that difference and high humidity works as an accelerator of the aging process, and it optimizes even the aging process in Carúpano. We call it an exceptional microclimate that we have there in the Macarapana Valley. So that is very important for the final product, and that minerality and that saline atmosphere that we have surrounding our facilities. They go through the pores of the wood of the barrels, and that's why you can feel when you taste Ron Carúpano, you can feel the Caribbean Sea, and El Caribe. You feel it in the rum.
So and in this image, we're seeing some um, something written in in every single barrel, right? And it says DC lot. There's a number. There's an. I imagine this is the date 30/08/2018. Can
Correct.
you tell us a little bit more about the of what we're seeing, right? What's written in every barrel?
Yeah, DC, it comes from Carúpano Distillery, but in Spanish, Destilería Carúpano. And then the number of the lot that we are that was taken to the aging process. This is the 669 lot that it was taken there August 30, 2018. So it has been there for 4 years now, almost 4 years now, aging the alcohol there. And then you have the number of the barrel and the location. That is what is written there.
So Ron Carúpano practices the Solera process, or it's just like what the barrel once the barrel's there, it's
We
never
we
touched again.
we don't use the Solera process. We use a horizontal aging process, completely static. We don't move the barrels. The ones that we're moving there is because we're going to empty them for the bottling process. But we use just a static type of aging process in our facilities.
Something very unique that I learned about. So like Venezuela, you're getting closer to the equator, right?
Correct.
So my impression is that it's going to be very hot. But I was something that I learned yesterday was that Carúpano, the town of Carúpano, is actually is it gets cold.
It
Um,
gets cold during the night. I mean, not super cold,
yeah.
but it's mostly from the breezes that we receive from the ocean, and so you can wear like a light sweater. Because it's a little bit chiller than any other coastal town, but it is very important for the process, that difference of temperature between the day and the night.
Which is super interesting. And I imagine inside the warehouses, it should be a little bit cooler as well, right? Because you want them to be dark. I see you have a lot of like in the videos, we're seeing that you have palm trees or trees around the many of the warehouses. That usually helps bring the temperature down as well, right? To
Correct.
maintain a lot of like a better or cooler temperatures.
Correct. And we don't have any kind of electricity lines surrounding the or inside the aging warehouses, because we need to protect the barrels at any cost. So that's why it's super dark. It's only natural light that comes from like the gap between the roof and the
The
walls,
walls.
and that's it. We don't have anything electric in there
Excellent.
or with electricity. Mhm.
And thank you for sharing that information. It feels that someday I'll be gifted and I'll be able to stay camping there for a week.
We hope that you can come someday, Federico.
I don't know if Charles is gonna let me stay camping there for a week, but at least
He might be here watching this.
okay. So what are we seeing now?
Now we are emptying the barrels, that we are extracting the alcohol that was resting there for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I don't see the date there. And there we have our beautiful master blender, Carmen Lopez de Bastidas. She is the first female certified master blender in Venezuela. She has been with our company for over 32 years now, and she is the creator, the nose, and the experience behind our products. She supervises the entire process, and it is very, very important for the family. And she has like paved the way for more women to come and work for this industry that has been like led by men before. And she's very important. It's a very important figure in Venezuela. We call her the rum star. and she's like a little rock star that where she goes, everybody wants to have a picture, to take a picture, or to have her sign the bottles. So she is a very big deal here in Venezuela.
I do have there's a new book that came out recently. Let me see if it comes out. It's called Rum Rebels, and it talks about all different women that are super important in
Correct.
the industry, right?
Yeah,
And Carmen is here.
she is there. Yeah.
Really cool. This is one of the books that I'm reading at currently. Okay. I did
So
see, which is super interesting. I wanted to interrupt you, Lucy. I have to interrupt you because I did see it says 2017 here. You called it out, and I'm like, so this is right now they're uh, opening, right, tanks or barrels that are from 2017.
correct. So I cannot give you the formula, of course,
Yeah,
but
no.
this, but this rums, because this is already rum, is going to be used in a blend for one of our products. We take that, and Carmen was testing the alcohol. At that point, it's about maybe 45, 46 gay Lussac, and then we add more water to the mix to take it to 40 gay Lussac, which is 80 US proof. And that is when it goes to the bottling process.
And what are the tanks that we're seeing in the back? Because they're not the same tanks that we were seeing in the very beginning of the video. Um, that we did see right here. This wooden tanks here or vats are not the same as the ones right there.
No, good eye.
Right?
Good catch.
Is this where the blending happens?
No, that is not where the blending happens. We don't have those tanks in use right now, but they are very beautiful, and we have them as decoration.
Okay. Eventually, so you never know when you're gonna start using them again. Uh,
Exactly.
all right. And then so here we're seeing Carmen, right?
There she
Do,
is.
doing her magic, which is phenomenal. And then
Correct.
all the beautiful liquid gold that's coming out, that we see in the barrel, just like sharing all that liquid
She
gold.
calls
Where's it going to? Where's it going to?
it the golden cascade. So that cascade is going to the blending tank, where yeah, the blending tanks that is going to go directly to the bottling process. So in the video, we'll see that we are processing Ron Carúpano 12. So that alcohol is going to be used in the here. Okay, let me talk about this a little bit first.
Yeah.
Um, this is the laboratory
Oh,
where we test.
sorry. I apologize. Yeah.
No worries. So we're gonna see our laboratory where we test the alcohols, where we not just the alcohol, the rums, even the maceration, like everything is tested there with our and supervised by Carmen. And then we'll see here the process lines where we are going to fill the product. Here we'll see that the bottles they are washed first, and then they are filled with the blend that, as I said, it was going to be used for Ron Carúpano 12. And then here you'll see the complete process of the bottling process.
So, what do the numbers mean in every bottle?
The number means the higher or older vintage that is in the blend. So Ron Carúpano 12, for instance, has in the blend, in the mix, alcohol that was aged for up until 12 years. it goes from 6 to 12 in the blend. So
From
it's
six
just
to
a
12.
number that lets you know it's a reference of the older vintage in the blend.
Does it mean also that the highest amount of rum from that expression is also going to be 12 years, or not necessarily?
Uh, that's part that's part of the formula. But yeah, it has to have a high percentage of that kind of blend of that kind of alcohol in order to be in the category of for instance for this one a premium, because if you add a higher percentage of younger alcohols, you're gonna taste it in the final product. So it has to have a higher percentage of older vintages or older alcohols in the blend in order to be in the premium category.
Understood. Which is really nice. And this bottles, they're being, what is that label that's being put on top of the cap?
That is a requirement for the bottles that are sell here in Venezuela. The bottles that we export, they don't need that. It's like a fiscal seal that we need to put to the bottles.
Understood. And everything that we're seeing, which is really interesting, you see, is yes, there's a lot of machines, but yes, at the same time, there's a lot of people paying attention. And here, especially on the Carúpano 18, so the labels are being put by hands, the bottles are being shined, which is
Correct.
phenomenal.
And that it's for me that it's part of the beauty of Ron Carúpano, because there is real people behind the brand. Like, we are a family-owned company, small batch. We are small batch producers, and you can see there that everything is made by hand. So here you'll see how they seal the bottle,
Yeah.
and it's very beautiful, because when you see a bottle of Ron Carúpano in Greece or in France or in Ecuador or Peru or Panama, it comes from the hands of real people from Carúpano. And as I said, our master blender has been with the company for 32 years, but our barrel master, he was with the company for over 50 years, and then his kids and the kids. And it is a very important thing for us, because this tradition has been passing from family to family within the Carúpano town. We are one of the first source of jobs and incomes to for the city, and that is very, very important, and we're very proud of that.
So let's talk about, and talking about Carmen, right? Carmen, she's been 30 years. Few months ago, we did a presentation, or we did a live stream with Carmen. And something that I was very amazed was like she she started like the standards of like, or yeah, or like ways rum will be made in the company, right? And then she started also. She was given the freedom to do different types of expressions as well.
Correct. The first one that she created, in fact, was Ron Carúpano 21. But the older version that we have, the previous version, which is called Solera Centenario. Solera also means blend. That's why we use that word in that product. And that was the first one that she created when she started with the company. She now is she created the formulas and now she's this like the main supervisor of the processes, and of course right now training the people that will follow her steps. She's this master or this mastermind, but also a great teacher for the generations to come, and then the next generations that will take her place. So she, of course, is an asset, and now she's the teacher, passing her experience and passing her knowledge to the next generation.
Yeah, Carmen's she's great. She's a great. She's very humble. She's super nice, and she looks like a great leader as well.
She is.
Um, and so we talked about, and you showed us through the videos. Um, we saw we saw the river. We saw the aging warehouses. Actually, there's a great video that shows us the entire facility right now.
By right by the end, exactly.
And
So
then, so
that's our Hacienda Altamira. And there you'll see, I don't know if a little bit later, you'll see the mountains surrounding the hacienda. And that's what it is. It's a beautiful center of magic where we make the best rum in the world, for sure. We have been awarded over 60 medals right now for Ron Carúpano, so in international contests. So this is a pretty big deal here in Venezuela, and for us, we are super proud that our bottles are now in over 30 countries around the world, and we are getting bigger and bigger.
yeah, congratulations, because you've done in the last, basically, I think in the last 3 years, the brand became even more active than ever, right? Which is
The last 3 years, you said?
yes, no,
Coincidentally, when I started here.
exactly. Right? So here we in this image, in this video, if I cannot do a close up, but it seems that there was a distillery there. So was Ron Carúpano at one point its own distillery and stopped, become then started decided not to distill any more rum and started sourcing.
Yes, we have a small, I want to say a small pot distillery there
Mhm.
that we are going to reactivate to use for some of our products. It is not active right now, but we do have it there. That's why we are called Carúpano Distillery. Um, as of right now, we are using this alcohol that comes from the center of the country. But yes, it is within our plans to activate the pot still that we have there and use it in some of our blends.
Yeah, it's been 260 years. I imagine there's a lot of history, a lot of stories to be told, and I'm sure there's like even secret recipes that are going around there. That so Lucia's excited. She's like, "Yep, I know this all."
I cannot talk that much.
Excellent. So we talked about we talked about Carmen. We talked about the rivers, or some part of the ingredients. We talked about aging, that you source your barrels, where you source your barrels from. Um, is the company also considering testing other types of barrels, like from Europe, other parts of
Yes. Yes, we
even
talked.
from
Yeah, thank you for reminding me that we talked about that yesterday. We are considering buying new barrels from Europe, exactly from Spain, to test and to have different kinds of blends and see how the final product comes. Because we are a very we are a family owned, small company, but we are very innovative, so we like to innovate, and we want to try different things in order to produce different rums, and that's why we want to now source from Spain.
Spain. But to and this could be technical, but once again, this is 260 years. Are there barrels that are like super unique in the facilities that you're like, oh my god, this is like we found this barrel that is like 100 years old?
I don't think so, because the barrels you can use them as much as if they are working, if they are not leaking, you can use them for
Yes.
sure. But I don't see, I don't see us using 100-year-old barrel, just because like the wood um,
Yeah, it runs.
stops working. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is great. I don't know if other people have questions. Before we go to your Q&A, I really want to share something really quickly. Let me share it to. For more information, you can go to Ron Carúpano website. I understand you also launched a new website as well, right? For the Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, I would like to invite you to follow us on Instagram, @roncarupano, as you can see there, and also follow us on our new account for English people, for speaking people, that is called Ron Carupano. It's just brand new. We are just launching this account. We just launched it a few weeks ago, but you are welcome to join and to share the experience with us and to get to know our brand a little bit better.
Excellent. Um, Everybody, if the best way you can support us, just this is my infomercial. This is my moment to do my infomercial. So if you can, for $5 a month, you can become a patron and help us through this basically, and have access to over 400 live streams, just as good as the one you're seeing today. Or you can go to noblecane.com, that we have different licensing agreements with different brands, and we sell really cool swag. We still have three more events taking place this year, which is the Seattle Rum Festival, so San Francisco Rum Festival, and then the LA Rum Festival. 3 cities in 10 days. All right, that's enough of my infomercial. And let's go through some of the questions. There is one observation. Lucia, you mentioned um, that Carmen, one of her first project was the Ron Carúpano 21. That used to be a Solera process, but now it's not a Solera process. Let's clarify this, because it could become a shady water of like knowing, like, did the company do Solera or didn't do Solera, right?
No, we don't do Solera. The product was called Solera Centenario because the word Solera also means blends, a mix of alcohols. So we use it in that sense, not to express that we age in the Solera system or with the Solera system, just to express that it's a centenary blend of rums.
Understood. What about the 25? Christina Wolf is asking, so the 25-year-old rum is a real single cask, or as
Yes,
well up as a blend?
yes, and I have it right here. It is Ron Carúpano Legendario. It is the only product that we have in our portfolio that it is not a blend. It is a 25-year-old single cask rum. He is the crown, the king of our portfolio, our prestige portfolio. And we just a month ago relaunched its image. We created a
Packaging.
canister for him because he's the king, and it now has a golden letters, a golden cap, the things that a real king needs to wear. So yes, Rogarupano Legendario, it's the only product that we have completely without blends.
Oh, wow. So it's 100% 25,
Yes,
minimum age 25.
correct. No, no, not minimum. The entire bottle is 25 years old.
Understood. Understood. Different blends as well, meaning like from the, yeah, 25. That's how. I'm not gonna get
For
technical.
instance, a product like this one, which is Ron Carúpano 18, it is a blend of rums. It goes from 12 years old up until 18. So you'll have different kinds of alcohols or vintage here. Carúpano Legendario is just 25 years old.
Understood.
That's
Some,
what's so special.
I would love if you can give us like a basically like a sensory tour, like with one expression, and you can tell us
Yes. Yes,
what.
I would love to do that because I wanted to present you guys with Ron Carúpano 18. This is the latest addition to our commercial portfolio because we used to have Carúpano 6, 12, and 21, and now we have 18. And I wanted to give you a taste, a virtual taste of Ron Carúpano 18. It has a beautiful amber color with golden bright sparkles. It is when you take it to the nose, very delicate aroma. Of course, alcohol, but it has candied fruits and moderate notes of wood, also almonds and honey. It is very delicious and it very sensual to the nose. Then I'm going to say cheers because we're going to taste it. It is a very elegant and sophisticated rum. We recommended to use it very pure or very neat, just a big a big cube of ice, maybe a lemon peel, and that's it. It's to enjoy talking to a friend, celebrating a graduation or a dinner with someone special, but preferably it's a rum to talk. So it's a rum that you want to taste with your five senses, and then you wanna receive all the aromas and the flavors that are here in this Venezuelan rum.
Exactly. I love the color. It looks very nice and amber. And tell us like if you swirled around, tell us a little bit about the tears.
Yes, because this is an oily kind of rum. You'll see when you shake the glass like this that the tears are going to drop very slowly through the surface, internal surface of the glass, and it is very typical of an 80 US proof kind of rum. And in fact, we used to say that the glass is crying because the tears, they don't stop. If you put the glass to rest, they are still going to drop within the inside part of the glass.
And then when something you mentioned right yesterday, and we talked about it today, right? You talk about being so close to the ocean and having this less scent or sense of like saline or salt, right?
Yeah,
When
you'll feel the salt like to the back of your tongue when you taste the rum. So it makes you like salivate and wanting you to desire to drink a little bit more and to taste it a little bit more.
exactly.
It is a delicious rum. For me, it's one of the masterpieces of Carmen.
Excellent. Well, Lucia, thank you very much. I don't right now. We don't have any more questions, which is great. We want to thank like we have everybody who signed up from all around the world. We have like even Pedro Pedrales is here, Christina Wolf, Maria Corina, Steve, Michael, Luke, people from France, from Tampa, from Nebraska, from Germany, Australia. This is phenomenal, and of course,
Wow.
there's a lot of people here from Venezuela, which is great, supporting the uniqueness. It's something that I took it with to like to my heart is, and I want to do this experiment is sometimes, and it was a conversation that it was we talked about yesterday. It's like Ron Carúpano by itself is very unique, and it's part of like having that saltiness. And then you can, when you try different types of rums, Ramon was sharing yesterday that sometimes it's like, well, I don't know if who's making this rum, but in general, Ron Carúpano, you can tell it from that uniqueness. So I have a mission, and I'm gonna see if this is true.
You have a mission to to have Ron Carúpano in your bar at home.
Absolutely.
So we'll give it to you when we see you in Miami next time.
No, no, I have like I have a personal like I do have a goal of like I gotta like I really want to learn about it. Well, Lucia, not don't go too far. Ron Carúpano is gonna be in California Rum Festival in one of the cities. So hopefully
Yes,
I see you or I see some of your teams.
someone from my team for sure. Yes.
Yes. Oh well, I we do have one question from Christina. This is a very good question. Do you sweeten your rums? And if you do you write that on the label? I'm not
It
one of the condemners. It's just important for me to. It's important to me that consumers know what they're buying.
Yes, it is a very good question, in fact. We don't add any type of sugar to our rums. Our rums are completely what we call completely honest rums. They are gluten free, no sugar added, no artificial flavors, and it's just alcohol and water. That's it. And in fact, we have an exercise that I do a lot during tastings, where I'm gonna do it right now so you can see. You put two drops or rum in your hand. Oops, sorry, it was a little bit more than I expected. And then you do this, and I do this for people to smell the aromas of the wood, because when you do this exercise, for some reason the first aroma that comes out is wood. But the second thing that I want to show you is when you do this, your hands, once the alcohol is evaporated, your hands are completely dry. Like you don't feel any stickness and or like
Oh yeah,
sugary
sweetness. Yeah, absolutely.
thickness. So that's how we prove that we don't add any kind of sugar to our rums. So yes, we're very proud to say that it's just alcohol and water. That's it.
What about caramel? Because it's a normal tradition to add caramel for the color of the spirits. So at one point, many years ago, well, not even 7 years ago, and it's still. And let me clarify, that is still a practice that is very common because you want to see consistency on the shelves. You sometimes you're in the airport and you're seeing all the bottles. You want them all to have a similar color. Some people don't
Yes.
they don't know if this like is that bottle wrong or good or bad.
Yes, the thing is that that word it's creates some kind of confusion sometimes, because people think that it's like real caramel, like sugar, something sugary. It is a completely natural in additive, I want to say, that is just to standardize the color. It doesn't add any kind of flavors or aromas to the rum or to the final product. You use it if you need to standardize the color of a specific batch. It is it is if you don't need to use it, you just don't add it at the end. But yes, it is not the word I want to say is carameline, because it's not caramel per se, but it just works as a color standardizer.
Understood.
Yeah.
And that you do that.
So if you need to do it, if because the alcohol that comes from the barrels, it is not exactly the same from one another. So if you need to, because the final product is not completely standardized for all the batches that you're producing, yes, you have to use it. It is very normal, but it doesn't add any kind of sugar or flavors or aromas to the rums.
Thank you for clarifying that, Lucia. And that's actually really good. And something I will be doing is that test of like putting some rum in my hands and looking for the stickiness or no
Yes,
stickiness, right? Which is
yes,
great.
you do
Well,
that.
thank you, Lucia. Have a beautiful day. Hope everybody had a great time. We'll be back with more live streams. If enjoy this upcoming. For those who are of us are celebrating the summer, enjoy it and be safe.
Thank you.
Bye, Lucia.
Bye.